And good evening and welcome to Edinburgh. We're at the southern tip of Texas to bring you exciting USL Championship soccer. Tonight, the Rio Grande Valley Toros face Monterey Bay FC in a Group West battle with the playoffs on the horizon. How do you do? I'm Mark May with Brian Smith coming to you from HEB Park on ESPN+. And Brian, who are our players to watch here tonight?
Beginning with the visiting Monterey Bay Union. Take a look right there at Sekou Kane. He's been perhaps one of their most dynamic players over the last 2 weeks. 6'3", 183 out of Liberia. And think about this, he's got 3 goals on the year. The bulk of those having come in the last month. He's that hot leg that can really go a long way toward helping them get a spark here in what is their season finale. On the other side, for the Toros of Rio Grande Valley, be Emilio Icaza. Not getting the start tonight, but he has been dynamic all year. He leads the team on 35 shots, including a team-high 43 chances created, 39 interceptions. You need someone to fill the stat sheet. Emilio Icaza is your man. Presumably, we'll see him at some point this evening, and he could go a long way, especially if the Toros are trying to build some major points here, because points are what get them into the playoffs. That'll lead us to our starting lineups in this one. Beginning with the visiting Monterey Bay Union. Take a look at this. Some of your usual suspects here in goal. Herrera, he'll be followed by 4 defenders, 3 midfielders, and 3 forwards as Monterey Bay tries to spark that attack in Johnson, Cortez, and the aforementioned Colne. The other side for the Rio Grande Valley Toros, little chase of the lineup here, some familiar faces back in the starting lineup. Eric Pimentel gets a start on defense, on the midfield. The 2 Torreses, both in this one, Jose and Juan Pablo Torres, and the return of that high-striking forward, Frank Lopez, one of 2 forwards to start this one for Rio Grande Valley. These are the keys for these 2 lineups, looking for 3 big points on the evening for the Toros. Control the match. Don't relax. You've got to come out, play your style of play, get the points. We'll talk about it more, but the Toros need a win, and they need one tonight to solidify their playoff chances. On the other side, for the Union of Monterey Bay, it's to force the Toros out of that rhythm they've gotten so accustomed to. The Toros have been arguably one of the hottest teams in the USL over the last 6 weeks. Because of that, they've been able to control pace of play and play their style. Look for Monterey Bay to force them out of that style of play, try to get some quick scoring opportunities, and perhaps put all that pressure back over on the Toros to perform under the lights.
The Toros, a win or a draw, and they are in the playoffs. A loss, they will need some help. That's our situation with Monterey Bay in the spoiler role. We're going to take a break, be back with the kickoff in a moment. You're watching USL Championship Soccer on ESPN+.
DHR Health is now safer than ever and continues to remain focused on one thing: providing exceptional care to our patients and community. No other hospital is trying harder to keep you safe. We're taking every action to ensure your safety with enhanced precautions, including 3 off-site COVID-19 units. Your health should never wait. Don't delay your health care. There is no reason to. Schedule your appointment today. DHR Health. For you, for life.
Why choose Lone Star National Bank for your business? Because no other bank does more to support local businesses. In fact, we are the #1 lender in the Valley to small businesses. We put money to work here in our community.
That helps our local businesses grow,
creating more jobs,
and more opportunities for all of us.
working together.
Together,
we do what the little banks can't and the big banks won't. Lone Star National Bank, the Valley's bank.
At HEB, we're inspired by Mexico. The colors, the flavors, and aromas. And we want to share them with you. So we created the HEB Mi Tienda family of products with authentic Mexican flavors. From savory marinated meats, frijoles and queso, to tamales, soft drinks, and more. HEB Mi Tienda brings you the traditional flavors you love. One more reason here, everything's better.
Back to HEB Park. There's a man with the hot foot right there, Jonas Fjellberg. Number 7 had 2 goals in the last game, a 2-1 victory over Phoenix Rising last week for the Toros. And the Toros have been rather torrid as of late, haven't they, Brian? They've been shooting up those USL power rankings.
Yeah, earlier in the season, looked like the Toros are one of those teams that find themselves on the outside looking in at a playoff hunt, but they have been on fire the last 6 weeks. In fact, most recent USL top 5, the Toros find themselves firmly in 4th place among all USL opponents and on the verge of a second straight playoff appearance, which would be the first time in franchise history they've gone to the playoffs in back-to-back seasons.
Yeah, made it in their inaugural season in 2016, made it again last year, and could make it 2 in a row this season as they take on Monterey Bay here, kicking off in just a moment. These two teams have played before back on May 14th out in Seaside, California. The Toros taking a 2-1 victory out there. Our player to watch, Emilio Icaza, had a goal along with Robert Coronado. Hugh Roberts found the net for Monterey Bay. They're just about ready to kick off here. You see it'll be Monterey Bay in all white kits with the Toros in their blue tops with the white shorts and the orange numerals. And they're starting in goal for Monterey Bay tonight is Carlos Herrera out of Chile. He's generally been their backup keeper this season with only 6 previous appearances. But this being, I guess, the last game of the year for Monterey Bay, we are seeing some new faces in their lineup tonight.
Chance to shake up the lineup just a little bit. Mentioned it coming in. Monterey Bay finds themselves out of the playoff. They came out of contention earlier this week with a loss on Wednesday. So playoffs not in their future, but they have the opportunity to really play spoiler here, because if they can upset Toros, this could go a long way toward helping other teams in the Western Division find themselves in the playoffs and give them some solidified confidence going into what should be a pretty good 2023 season.
And here's the free kick taken by Aaron Basoljevic, the midfielder out of the Bronx, New York. Ball kicked all the way back to midfield. Monterey Bay will try to get set up from there. Here's a little bit of a build-up. This is Gorski coming up from his defender spot. Playing it back now to Jiro Barriga Toyama. Toyama out of Panama. And now we have a free kick being awarded to the Toros as their veteran Juan David Cabezas is down.
To look at what occurs here. It's a nice job of pushing the play forward from Monterey Bay. But as Jiro loses control of that, when he leaves that knee just a little bit high, it ends up in those thighs of Cabezas. Easy call to make if you're the official. Something that is not tickle for Juan David Cabezas. He needed a second just to compose himself. We're back to action.
Cabezas, 31 years old, out of Colombia, has worn the captain's armband a number of times tonight, but tonight that's the honor of Jose Torres, number 10. Both those are veterans on this Toros team. And Toros, as we've said, playing very well of late. They've won 5 of their last 7 with a draw in there. So only 1 loss in their last 7 matches. Meanwhile, Monterey Bay comes in on a 3-game losing streak. And as you mentioned, Brian, eliminated from playoff contention after Wednesday night's 2-0 loss in Tulsa, Oklahoma. Long pass here down the right wing. Trying to catch up to it is 14 Jason Johnson out of Jamaica, forced to play it back. A lot of foreign-born players here on this Monterey Bay team. 11 players on their roster from foreign nations. Center ball is kicked aside by Frank Nadarce. Nadarce out of Cuba. And opening moments here so far, it's been Monterey Bay pressing the action. Now, I'm sure for them, Brian, I'm sure they want to finish the year on a winning note.
Yeah, and especially the kind of year they've had. Monterey Bay was a very, very competitive team for most of the year. They've kind of tailed off over the last few weeks, but look right here.
Yeah, Frank Lopez catches up to it, centers the ball to Fjellberg, a heavy touch, and it's cleared by Monterey Bay.
That was a razor-thin defensive chance for the Union, but they find a way to step up big and keep Fjellberg from scoring. But as we were saying a moment ago, Monterey Bay looked like a solid playoff contender for most of the year. It's been this slight little slide down the stretch that's really hurt them. Certainly something they want to be able to build on coming into next year, knowing this is a team that very easily could have been in the playoffs. A couple of bad decisions over the last 2 weeks have really kind of pushed them to the outside looking in.
A long pass to the left wing, misplayed there by Ward. O'Connor Ward, now it's at the foot of Monterey Bay, and pushing it up is Maury Donor out of Canada. Head coach of the Monterey Bay is also Canadian, Frank Yallop. And here's a chance here at the outside edge of the area, and kicked away there by the Toros. That was Nadarse coming to the rescue once more. Here's Fjellberg. Sends a through ball. This is Lopez again. Lopez moves ahead of his marker, trying to get position, goes down. And I think this is going to be a penalty. Referee is pointing to the center spot, and there's a red card. A straight red.
Wow, let's take a look at this right here. Now, Frank Lopez, look at that speed. He beats him to the corner. We're going to look for the strong foul here. And there it is right there. He peels back on that right shoulder of Lopez. Once Lopez was actually past him, that's where you're going to earn the straight red. Now, you see there's going to be a quick little discussion here as Gorski tries to make the argument that, you know, maybe I earned the yellow, but a straight red off of that. We'll look at the replay again. And it's because Lopez is past him here. You can challenge Frank Lopez. Oh, and then look at what's coming the backside. The keeper comes in, spikes up right to the head of Lopez. That's a bang, bang. 2 fouls in that key moment.
But it's Gorski who's going to be heading to the showers early here. He draws a red card in just the 5th minute. Taking the penalty, that looks like Eric Pimentel, their defender. Pimentel, 31 years old, out of Mexico, has 2 goals this season. I believe this is his first penalty kick of the season. See what happens here. Last week, the Toros faced a penalty kick against Phoenix Rising. Tyler Derrick able to save it. Let's see what Herrera is able to do. Here's Pimentel. The shot and save made. A big save. Another chance for the Toros, and it's a goal. On the rebound, it's Juan Pablo Torres, and the Toros in front 1-0.
3rd goal of the year for Torres, and talk about doing some work on the rebound. Toros are out on parade. Those Bulls are applying pressure. Take a look at this. Great strike there from Pimentel. Long rebound. And before that Herrera can get out and get reestablished again, Juan Pablo Torres says, I'll take a goal. Rio Grande Valley now with the early 1-0 lead. Less than 7 minutes into this one.
Wow. Great turn of events here early on. Carlos Herrera saved the penalty. A terrific dive to his right to save it. But it was Juan Pablo Torres who jumped in there, capitalized, got the rebound, teed it up, and fired it into the net for his 3rd goal this season.
Give some credit to it out of there in goal. He did a spectacular job of reading that well off the foot of Pimentel. An even better job of making sure he deflected it and deflected it wide so it's not right in front of net in the box. Juan Pablo Torres found the angle. What a spectacular strike.
So 1-0 Toros here early. It's one of the earliest goals they've had all season. Fjellberg has the ball now. So the Toros back on the attack. This is Ricky Ruiz. Out of California, passes to the right side. Ricketts trying to return it to Ruiz on the through ball. Ruiz goes down in a heap. Play will continue. Monterey Bay now in possession. That was Kona with the turnaround. And Monterey Bay trying to get it over to the right side. It's going to be Donor now with it. He'll take off. The bowler had it at his foot for a moment. And Monterey Bay into the attacking 3rd. Juan Pablo Torres with his 3rd goal this season after the penalty kick save by Carlos Herrera. So, of course, the Toros now playing 11 against 10 the rest of the way after the defender Hunter Gorski shown red. It's a through ball, forces Derrick out of his net, a collision with Kone, and both men are down. Derrick grasping his chest and Kone his right leg.
Kone has continued to apply a tremendous amount of pressure here. This ball slides through. Tyler Derrick comes out, he gets there, and Kone just lows up in those knees, lowers those knees right into his chest. I don't think that was intentional. He wasn't looking at Derrick. He was tracing the ball. Derrick got there before he did. They will give a yellow card here to Kone regardless.
So Kona here in the 9th minute becomes the second player booked on this Monterey Bay team.
Derek's still checking on that chest a little bit. He took a pretty good shot right from the knees of Kone, right into his core. Says, I'm okay, wipes the grass from his brow. Back to action we go.
It's a 6th yellow on Kona this season. 1-0 Toros, and they're playing 11v10. They're 3-1 this season when they had the man advantage. Darce brings it into the front half. In terms of yellow cards and bookings, Monterey Bay came in tied at 24th, so they're not a team that picks up a lot of fouls or serious fouls. Had 6 red cards, however. Picked up their 7th here tonight. It's a through ball from Cabezas. This is Ricketts. Nice little one-touch. That's Lopez. Tries to center it. No, actually, that's Lopez. Now Fjellberg with it. Fjellberg trying to find a shot attempt. It's kicked away from him. Then a shot from distance goes over the bar.
Jose Torres had some room to operate. He steps forward. It's a pretty good strike on that, but it floats just a little bit high. But again, Toros really applying some pressure and challenging right here, forcing Monterey Bay, who, as you mentioned, Mark, are down one man, to really step up and try to cover a lot of ground in that box.
Yeah, Jose Torres, from Longview, Texas, 34 years old, former U.S. international player. Carlos Herrera in the Monterey Bay goal, 6 foot, 192 pounds, out of Chile. Here's Kone trying to win the ball. Ricketts gets there first. Ricketts, one of those players who wins those duels, leads the team with over 200 duels won. 47 tackles won this year, leads the team in that category as well. Played last year in Chattanooga, Tennessee in USL League One, the Red Wolves. Cabezas will center this to the captain, Torres. Now to the left side, and this is O'Connor Ward. He'll send it forward for Fjellberg. Fjellberg with 2 goals in his last game. Send this ball into the middle. And it was cleared away by Sam Gleadle. Gleadle's tied for the team lead with 8 goals scored this season, along with Chase Boone. Boone on the bench tonight. Might see him in the second half. Long pass intended for Ruiz, headed by Gleadle. And then Gleadle, not wanting to give up a corner kick, kicks it aside, so it goes out for a throw-in. Just 12 minutes in, we've already seen a penalty, a red card, a penalty save, and a goal. A lot of action early on here at HEB Park. Ball chipped into the box for Lopez. Lopez trying to create something out of nothing there. Pops it over the bar.
Frank Lopez is on the pitch. Anything can happen. This is actually placed really nicely by Torres. Gets it in to Lopez. Quick turn there, and that's actually deflected away by Monterey Bay. So that's going to lead to the first corner of this one in favor of the Toros.
You're right. Went off of Toyama. And so Fjellberg and Torres over there. This will be the first corner of the game. And looks like it'll be Torres to take this one. Going to kick this one to the high side. Immediate shot is aside. And it'll be a goal kick.
Juan Torres again looking for a second goal on the match. They gave him some space. This was placed really nicely. Quick little strike. No chance for a hop. He actually had some good height and length on it. Just pushed it a little bit too far right.
You had all the Toro players kind of pressing toward the goal and drawing the defense away from the top of the area.
Has been a dynamic start for Rio Grande Valley. They are dominant right now.
And the Toros, when they score first this year, are extremely dominant. They've not lost a game. This is the 14th time they've taken the lead. 10 wins and 3 draws. We've got a Toro down now.
But no Darce. Little head-to-head collision as he went to try to put a head on that.
The trainer, Miss McCartney, looking at him. See what happened.
Right there. It looked like it was perhaps an elbow. Rather than an elbow, just kind of came up after he headed that one away and caught him right under that nose and that upper lip.
Yeah, didn't look on purpose of the collision with Chris Cortez. Forward from Monterey Bay. You can see Darcy now up and appears to be okay. Darcy out of Havana, Cuba, only 21 years old, 6'2". You can see the trainer there wearing a Say No to Racism t-shirt. All the players came out, kind of a show of unity before the game, before they put their kit tops on, had a Say No to Racism t-shirt on underneath. 15 minutes in, Gleedle will send this back. Monterey Bay, by the way, in their first year in the USL Championship. So certainly some things to be positive about as they head toward their second year next year, even though they'll be missing the playoffs. Here's a long pass to Lopez. Only one marker, trying to create a shot. It's blocked in front by Toyama, then cleared by Gleedle. Lopez, one of those playmakers, is ever so dangerous. Lopez still tied for the team lead coming into tonight with total shots at 35, was tied with Ikaza. He's probably taking the lead from him right now, as Ikaza probably won't see action until the second half. Long pass to Ricketts, did a good job of bringing that, settling it to his feet. Ruiz to the left side, now Pimentel as the Toros taking their time at the build-up here early on in the first half. Ward looking toward the area. And now the Toros will send it over to the right side. Darcy now, the right back. He'll press forward. Ricketts now looking to center the ball. Nothing there, and so again, the Toros will just wind it around, taking a lot of patience here on this possession. There's Ward with a chance. And again, patience comes through. Long pass, headed by Ruiz in front and then cleared out by Monterey Bay. An opportunity that was building there, but it was cleared out by Toyama.
A little change of pace we're seeing from the Toros, now up by 1 goal. They're up a man, up a goal. So now they're pretty established with just moving the ball around and forcing those 10 white kits to continue to stretch and bend. They don't have to be overly aggressive right now. You have to let Monterey Bay make the problems on defense. Monterey Bay just has to misplay one thing, and the Toros could be in a good spot for another goal. It's now Monterey Bay's job to get out, be aggressive, take the ball away, move this pressure off of themselves.
Yeah, this is a little different from the Toros we've seen in the past. They're a team that's generally found success as of late when they don't have the ball, aren't they?
They really have. In fact, their last victory coming out last weekend,
30% possession against Phoenix last week. That was by far their lowest of the year. But as you said, that was effective. They did produce 15 shots, 6 of them on target, which was the most they've had on target in their last 3 games. It was a productive 30%, you could say. Overall this season, they're at 51%. Monterey Bay came in at 44%. There's Kana trying to get turned. Able to chip it over to the right side. Now here comes the ball into the area. Header is over the top of the bar. And Tyler Derrick has something to say to his defense after that. That was Kane, who had an opportunity there for Monterey Bay.
That was just a spectacular job by Monterey Bay to pick that Toros defense apart. Kone was challenging. He was challenging. They allowed him to slip into the box, and Derrick saw it immediately. Derrick comes running out to Cabezas and says, you cannot give him that much space. Somebody's got to check him before he gets himself into the box so quickly.
Kana stands 6'3" and extended that frame then to get his head on the ball. And the first opportunity we've seen from Monterey Bay, first offensive flash we've seen from them. They were shut out in their last game Wednesday night at Tulsa, 2-0. And prior to that, loss to Tampa Bay, 2-1. So Toros once again in keep-away mode here on the Monterey Bay end of the field. The Darcy will come forward, trying to draw a marker toward him. and then send it to Ricketts. Ricketts will look to be centering the ball. 6 attackers over there. Fjellberg with the header as just wide. Good opportunity there by Fjellberg.
That was a great leap by Fjellberg. He timed that well, just could not get his head turned around quickly enough. Ricketts places this really nicely. Fjellberg times his jump. Gets that perhaps a little bit too far off the left side of his head. Like to have had a little bit more off the right where he can rope that back in toward the net. But you can't fault the jump. Beautifully timed jump, an even better cross. Another close opportunity for Rio Grande Valley.
There we see Hedera drawing the start ahead of Anthony Siaha tonight. Siaha on the bench. He's been their regular starter this year with 8 clean sheets. Hedera making his 7th appearance for Monterey Bay this season, here in their 34th game. Chance here for Bay. Sending it inside to the air, trying to get turned. A shot blocked in front. Connor with the follow-up is blocked by Nadarse. But we've got a player down, and we'll see what this is about. Might be against Monterey Bay.
Take another look. This is actually laid off really nicely by Monterey Bay. They dropped that into the middle. Looked like the Toros wanted a handball there as that ball bounced up and kind of caught the forearm. May actually be getting the handball there. You saw the referee immediately points down for a goal kick, although that ball had not gone out.
So I'll look at Cortez there a moment ago out of Mission Viejo, California. 21st minute now. Toros will restart the attack. Here's Ward, former MLS Super Draft pick out of 2019 from DC United. This ball to the right side. Darce will push it up. Now Juan David Cabezas. The captain Torres finds his man, Fjellberg. Fjellberg, the leading goal scorer with 8 on the season, despite being a mid-season pickup for the Toros. Was with the Toros last year. Spent the early part of this season with Indy 11. Again, quick passing by the Toros along the perimeter. Now Ward looking for a chance to cross it. Darce. Now Ruiz. And they'll send this back once again and reverse the action. You know, part of this, I'm sure, is to find that weak link in the defense, but also to wear the defense out as Ward sends it in. Nobody there for the Toros.
Looked like when Ward dropped that, he looking for Ricky Ruiz to kind of peel off a little bit, take that in a spot and perhaps settle it. Ruiz had actually cut back in toward the middle, dropped into that dead spot right in the middle of the Monterey Bay Union defense. Let that trickle out and get a breather.
There we see Hedera, and I misspoke earlier. I said he was from Chile. I was mistaken. He's actually from California. California boy there. And he'll kick it down to the half line. Headed forward by the Toros. Oyama got a piece of it. Now it goes forward, and Lopez running onto the ball. Fjellberg down the middle. Trying to set up shop over there. Can Lopez get him the ball? Sends it through. Be picked up at the top of the arrow. Torres, a shot! Oh, just over the bar. Not sure if Hedera got a piece of that or not.
I think he might have been able to punch it. They're going to award a corner here for the Toros. Another look at the angle here. Torres takes that beautifully. And indeed, yeah, that was redirected by Hedera. Grande Valley continuing to just load up on shots and shots on target right now.
Yeah, I've got the Toros for 7 shots already. We're seeing Darce's come forward from his right back spot. Toros will send this in. Darce with it, finds Fjellberg. It's 3 markers on him. As he tried to center the ball, banks it off of a defender, and it'll be another corner.
A lot of credit to Monterey Bay defensively right now. They have been aggressive. They're staying in front of the Toros. That was a really nice opportunity. They could have very easily peeled back and tried to protect in front of net, but they stayed right on top of Fjellberg. Forced that one out.
Third quarter of the match for the Toros. Headed out by number 15. That was Cortez. Toros regain possession. Yelberg goes down and may have picked up the foul here as he's grasping his left leg.
And we'll get another yellow issued here. Oh, there's where the yellow comes from. Take a look at what happens as he's trying to clear some space coming in. Not only does he hip check Fjellberg, but he puts a forearm right into his jaw. That is 77, Farigo Toyama.
Just his second booking of the season.
Back in the trainer out to take a look at Fjellberg real quick. Really hard hip check. Take a look at the slow down here. Not only did he do that, but look at that forearm right to the neck, kind of lower chin area of Fjellberg in the process. Very, very hard tackle.
Yeah, you can see the grimace on Fjellberg's face in that video. Now standing up on his own. And Fjellberg with 8 goals and 1 assist. This is his 27th game. 31 shots, so it's just 4 behind Lopez and Icaza for the team lead there. So he's definitely a man who is always in the scoring zone. Looks like he might be taking this free kick. We got Torres standing there to the right of it, a 2-man wall in front. Three Toros right on the edge of the 6-yard box. And Torres will take it toward the net. And I think Herrera was able to pop that over. Oh, no, he didn't touch it. It's going to be a goal kick.
Torres put quite a strike on that. Look at the force behind this. He's going straight for net. He'd had looked at it and then realized that was going to be high. Pulls that hand back at the last moment.
Tell he was anticipating that kind of attempt, was ready for it. Deep kick this time, headed into the middle by Cortez. Ends up with Ward's feet, though, and the Toros will begin the attack once more. Early on, it was Monterey Bay. Then since the goal, it's been the Toros on the majority of attacks here. And here, this is Torres, Juan Pablo Torres, getting knocked down in the area. Play will continue, though. Pimentel controls for the Toros. Pimentel, one of the top players as far as passing accuracy goes, at 84%.
And a really physical defender, too. There's no easy goals when you're one-on-one with Eric Pimentel. You're going to earn it and earn it the hard way.
Toros on the move here again. Ward, who was with the Oakland Roots last year, helped them into the playoffs. Now with the Toros, and it's the Toros and Oakland who are both fighting for 3 of those last spots in the playoffs. Center ball is kicked out, and there's a shot from distance, and that's going to go over. That's Juan David Cabezas. It's 9 shots now here by the Toros here in this first half. And Cabezas from about 30 yards out puts that over the bar. Monterey Bay back on the attack now. Oh, Pittsburgh leading Oakland 3-1. Is that a final?
It's not a final. They're in the closing moments. Should be final very soon.
That would help the Toros' chances. Toros beginning the night in 6th place. Top 7 spots go into the playoffs. Top 7 in the East, top 7 in the West. And all 7 in the East already determined. But in the West, it was a little more murky as Ward brings the ball up forward here. Will shoot, and Herrera makes the save, diving to his right. Third save by him.
Connor Ward put a really nice strike on that. That was placed well. Grande Valley looking for that bonus goal. And eerily close to getting it a couple times already here in the second half, or the first half, excuse me.
Here's Johnson with it for Monterey Bay. Then over to the right side to his teammate, the donor. Now the New Yorker, Suljevic, sends it to the right side, but I believe the offside flag came up.
The offside flag was up really quick. Donor did a nice job of trying to get back on side right as that pass was about to be sent, but he was still just a little bit off. Probably had about a step and a half offside as he was coming back.
Tyler Derrick, 33 years old, out of Houston. Been the top keeper for the Toros the last couple of seasons. This is his 23rd game. Leads his team with 7 clean sheets. That's tied for 11th in the entire USL. And Fjellberg out of Norway. Work the ball into space, shoot from distance, and Herrera again makes the save, this time diving to his left.
Herrera's been spectacular in net. He reads these balls really well. He gets into good position.
And the ball played back to him. He can't pick this up. So kicks it away quickly. 31st minute now. A goal by Juan Pablo Toros, the difference back in the 6th minute after a penalty save by the Monterey Bay goalkeeper.
You now have a final in Pittsburgh. Riverhounds do defeat the Roots 3-1. That helps the Toros in their push for the playoffs, especially if they can hold on to this 1-0 lead.
Little give and go. Here's Ruiz. Trickles the ball forward. It's played back to Herrera, who will clear it. Played back by Johnson, who's out of Jamaica. Yeah, the Toros began the night tied with Oakland in points, both at 46, but the Toros did have the tiebreak edge over Oakland. Now Oakland their season will end at 46 points. And so if the Toros were to lose tonight, they would still be ahead of Oakland. The Toros also entered the year at 46 points, 13 wins and 13 losses with 7 draws. And Monterey Bay, not too far off at 40 points, but mathematically out of it with only 1 game left. They begin the night in 10th place, 12 wins and 17 losses with 4 draws. Long pass, Ricketts chests that one down, sends it to Ruiz. Ruiz leading the team in assist, turns around, finds Nadarce. Nadarce will pass up the shot. He'll find Toros, and now Ward on the left edge of the area. Inside is Juan Pablo Toros. Ward will chip this. Cleared out by Gleedle. And now popped clear. It's a good kick there by Cortez.
And mathematically, with the loss by the Oakland Roots, the Toros have now clinched a playoff spot. Regardless of what happens here, they're in the playoffs now.
And there's a goal right there as they clinch a playoff spot. Look who it is. It's Frank Lopez. 33rd minute, and the Toros go up by 2.
Yeah, these Toros are not comfortable with just a playoff win, although presumably they don't know they're in the playoffs yet. They're not sitting on the sideline right now checking the scores elsewhere across the USL. So they're looking for points in a big way. And what a spectacular move this is for the Toros. Ricketts places that beautifully. Frank Lopez comes out and just cooks that in the right corner. Herrera was reading that as a shot by Ricketts. And then Frank Lopez comes in and says, no need to challenge that spot. I've got it here on the right. Toros now up 2-0. And a big move right now for Rio Grande Valley. They've got the insurance goal. So now Monterey Bay has now got to find a way to put up 2 goals, down 1 man. They're going to try to pull any points out of this matchup.
Zona Naranja is in full force. The orange zone excited. They got a 2-0 lead now, still first half. Lopez, his 7th goal in all competitions this year, his 6th goal in league play. And Ricketts with the assist. And that is his first assist of the season. Ball played back to Herrera. Toros putting on the pressure. That's something the Toros have found a lot of success with, is kind of putting on that pressure, getting the turnover, and then making something happen with that, which is one reason why they've been comfortable not having possession for most games this season.
It's a really interesting style of play, but it's worked well for the Toros, forcing your opponent to make mistakes on defense that give you opportunities. So rather than trying to create your own offense, allowing your opponent to create offense for you, make those mistakes, and then build quickly on those counters. Toros are perhaps one of the best teams in the USL at doing just that.
So now it's Oakland that has to sweat it out a little bit after the loss. Here's Ruiz. Trying to center the ball inside. Toros weren't challenging for it, and it's cleared away easily. And the Toros, I believe, had a chance with the win tonight, and depending on how other things fall, they could finish as high as 5th, I believe.
Correct, and right now with the outcome, if this holds for a 2-0 victory, they will be the 5 seed. Based upon the outcomes of the games that preceded them today, the Oakland Roots were the team that perhaps could sneak up and take a point away and find themselves up as high as the 5th seed if the Toros did not come away with a victory. But now up 2-0, they're going to have advantages not only in head-to-head matchups, but also in goals. They will have locked up the 5 seed directly ahead of New Mexico.
You can see a foul there committed by the Toros. Free kick in the midfield area for Monterey Bay. The other team that still has a chance getting into the playoff picture, the Las Vegas Lights. What's their situation?
They'll play later this evening. They're going to kick off in about 30 minutes. A victory for the Lights would bring them to 47 points, which would leapfrog them ahead of Oakland Roots and put the Roots out of the playoffs. So everyone out in Oakland is keeping their eye on the West Coast. They want to know what's happening with the Lights. They can come away without the Lights picking up 3 points. The Oakland Roots are in the playoffs. Draw does not help the Roots at this point. They need a victory to find themselves in that final playoff spot.
And if the Toros end up level on points with Las Vegas, the Toros would be seated ahead of them based on the tiebreakers. They split 2 regular season meetings, but the Toros had a better goal difference in those 2 meetings. I think they lost the first meeting 1-0 and then won the return match by 5-0.
5-0. In Las Vegas.
They scored a royal flush on that night. All hearts or something, or whatever you get in those slot machines to to win.
Another pretty good attack here from Monterey Bay. They were trying to set that wide, but it ends up being offside again. This is what's kind of plagued the Monterey Bay Union in this one so far, is staying onside. They just kind of cheat a little bit forward, trying to establish position. Those officials have an eagle eye, and if you're just the slightest bit offside, they are calling you for it this evening.
Yeah, that's the second offside on Monterey Bay this evening. Toros up 2-0. So even if the Toros fall into a draw here tonight against Monterey Bay and Las Vegas pulls out a win, the Toros would still be ahead of Las Vegas in the playoff seedings. Only way Las Vegas can leapfrog the Toros if the Toros should blow the 2-goal lead and man advantage and somehow lose this game. Juan Pablo Torres, ball at his foot. He scored the first goal tonight. There's Ricketts, who assisted on the second goal. The ball kicked away there. Again, good defending there by Monterey Bay.
Toros found themselves in a pretty good spot coming into this match. Win or draw, and they were in. If they lost, they would still have been in the playoffs, but they needed Oakland and Las Vegas to both win to push them out of the playoffs. With Oakland having now lost, Toros are mathematically in the playoffs no matter what happens in this one. Although the way they're playing right now, what happens looks like it may be a victory up 2-0.
Indeed. Here's Lopez from distance and forcing Herrera to save it. Gives up a rebound, but he's the only one there. He'll chase that down. So Herrera having a busy night in the Monterey Bay goal. He's faced a plethora of shots.
And up to the task, though, just his 7th appearance of the season. Only had 14 saves coming in and 1 clean sheet. The way things are going right now, he might double that save total before the end of this one.
The season high for Monterey Bay is 8 saves in 1 game. That was against El Paso back in April. You know, El Paso, that's one of those teams, very strong last year, started off real strong for most of this season. They kind of tailed off as of late, and they're going to miss the show.
Yeah, they were in the hunt for that final playoff spot coming into the final week. These last two games have not been favorable for El Paso. They came up without points in each of their last two, now find themselves on the outside of the playoff picture.
Yeah, they were level on points with the Toros at Oakland entering tonight, all at 46 points. Their only problem, they didn't have any games left, and they didn't have the tiebreak edge over the Toros or the Roots, and as a result, they're mathematically out of it entering tonight.
Those are the situations where, as a franchise, as a coach, you look back at your schedule and you go, could we have scraped one more point here, one more point there? You look at those snap decisions in the middle of the dog days of summer and go, man, if we could have scraped 1 point out here, how very different our scales could have looked. But it also talks about what a strong division the western side has been in the USL, to have so many teams in the hunt coming into the final month, much less into the final week.
Indeed, here's Grande winning the ball here, deep in the Monterey Bay attacking zone. Kicked away from him, though, as he couldn't find any help. Goes to the foot of Gleedle. Gleedle has 8 goals this year, tied for the team lead, along with Chase Boone. Boone on the bench tonight. Might see him in the second half. Toros winning the ball back now. You know, I think for the Toros, I think what turned it around for them was that massive 5-game road trip they had. 4 of the 5 teams were strong playoff contenders. And out of the 5, they won 2, drew 2. They only lost 1.
And it's something Wilmer Cabrera has been talking about all season with the Toros. He said to start the year, they knew they had a pretty good roster, but they knew some tweaks were going to be made. They made some last-minute additions. Christian Pinzon has been a spectacular performer, one of those late additions. Fjellberg being brought back over from India 11. So as they continue to tweak that lineup and then tweak who was on the pitch at the same time, building on that chemistry, it's a Toros team that once they got comfortable, they have been giant slayers.
Yeah, Pinzon out of Bellflower, California, was playing in Mexico with the second division, Club Deportivo Tapatio. And once he was signed, he had 5 goals in 5 games at one point, had a 7-game scoring streak. 7 goals entering tonight. We might see him in the second half. Ball goes to the foot of Cabezas and sends this back to Pimentel. The Toros will begin the attack here with just a few minutes left here in the first half. Toros up by 2 off goals by Juan Pablo Torres and Frank Lopez.
Enter the 43rd minute. To my watch, we're probably going to get 3 minutes of stoppage time added.
Ricketts goes back to Nadarce. See a lot of poise and confidence with the Toros tonight as well. You see it's a team that's been playing well as of late, and they're playing well in this game too. Here's Fjellberg. To Cabezas. 18. Time you send the ball all the way to the left and all the way to the right, the whole defense has to make the shift. Ricketts, a nice little pass to Fjellberg. Little back heeler to Reese now. Goes to Cabezas. Trying to catch the team here, and Ward sends it inside. Toyama ready for it to clear it away. Ward able to chest this one down. His pass knocked away by Donor. That ball goes out of play. This will be a goal kick.
Have to talk about the changes the Toros made to their line to start this one. 3 of your normal starters, Pizzoni, Kaza, and Akwi, did not get the start, so those are fresh legs that could come in the second half if you need them. Or, if you don't need them, you've now given 3 of your major performers a rest going into the playoffs.
That would be win-win either way. Last minute of the first half, I was checking on Frank Lopez, the goal he scored tonight, his first goal since September 7th, and that was in El Paso. Last time he scored here at HEB Park was on April 15th. That was up against the New York Red Bulls. It's been a while since the fans here have seen Lopez celebrate a goal.
A great boost to his confidence as well going into the playoff push. Frank Lopez, perhaps one of the most dynamic scorers in the USL. He can make things happen from just about anywhere on the pitch.
Ward inside, it goes to almost to the foot of Lopez, trickled away from him, and Herrera smothers it before anything worse can happen. Lopez almost had a chance for goal number 2 tonight.
And defensively positioned really nicely there by Monterey Bay. They got out, got stretched. A lot of credit there to Moby Feder, who stepped out, got enough of a deflection to force that one away. 2 minutes of stoppage time added here.
This will be a throw in here for Rio Grande Valley. Rio Grande Valley with a win tonight can finish above 500 at home. They have struggled at times at home this year. 7 wins and 7 losses with 2 draws. In command here tonight. We're in first half stoppage time. Juan Pablo Toros out of Atlanta sends the ball to the right. Here's Ricketts. Inside it goes. Fjellberg with the header, just wide. Second header he's had tonight.
Just trying to get dialed in. You see he gives the thumbs up to Ricketts. Ricketts again places a really nice cross right where Fjellberg can get to it. Just cannot get his head turned around to whip that. Just the right angle. Ends up wide left once again.
Fjellberg very busy around the goal. Knows how to kind of find the open space. The little seams in the defense. Lets his teammates get him the ball. You know, he almost scored in the opening moments of the game. Remember when Lopez was able to steal one deep and then fed it to Fjellberg, but his first touch was too heavy. Never got an attempt at the goal. Few seconds left here in half number 1 at HEB Park. Cabezas will bring it up. Now Ruiz trying to get turned. Out of Elsinore, California, finds Juan Pablo Toros. Kicked up in the air. Maybe another attempt here for the Toros. Ruiz will center this ball, and they'll try the left side right quick. It's their captain, Toros. Find Ward. Past the second minute of stoppage. Could stop any moment now. And there it is. Referee blows his whistle, and we've reached halftime at HEB Park. The Toros on top, 2-0 behind goals by Toros and by Lopez. And coming up here at halftime, we'll have a look around the USL. We'll talk about the playoff bracket, show you some first half highlights and first half stats. All that coming up here at the break. Right now, you're watching USL Championship Soccer on ESPN+.
Are you the one others rally around? Inspire soldiers to follow your lead. See your vision clearly, get there decisively. Explore more than 200 careers at GoArmy.com.
When we said Reliant offers free flex days, we had something a little different in mind. Get the flexibility of free electricity on your 2 highest use days every week with the Reliant Truly Free Flex Days plan. That's up to 8 free days a month. So go on, what are you waiting for? We'll even upgrade your plan to solar. On us. Reliant. That's power. Your way.
DHR Health is now safer than ever and continues to remain focused on one thing, providing exceptional care to our patients and community. No other hospital is trying harder to keep you safe. We're taking every action to ensure your safety with enhanced precautions, including 3 off-site COVID-19 units. Your health should never wait. Don't delay your health care. There is no reason to. Schedule your appointment today. DHR Health. For you, for life.
Welcome back to HEB Park. 2-0 our score. Toros in front, and time for a halftime report.
Special thanks to our halftime sponsor, Live Oak Vodka, the official vodka sponsor of the RGV Toros. It's been a spectacular start to the season. Wrapping it up now, let's take a look at your Week 39 recap.
I'm on that routine. I'm on that routine.
I mean, yeah, let's talk about today where I'm going to go topics.
Roll it down.
I am.
You don't need a car to listen to Sirius XM. You can listen anywhere. You know that, right?
What? Kevin Hart's Laugh Out Loud Radio.
Kevin, you could use your phone.
What? What?
Alexa, play Kevin Hart's Laugh Out Loud Radio on Sirius XM.
What?
This is how I know you're getting old. I guess that was it.
What?
Unbelievable! What a goal! What a moment! The ultimate upset when it mattered the most!
And that's everything you need to know from Week 31 across the USL. Some important news to talk about as the week continues. Talk about the playoff picture in just a few moments. That's going to be a big moment decided later on in the evening. Your team of the week, though, tells a really interesting story across the USL. Player of the week in this one is Mishi Galina. He picks up a huge performance, his first hat trick of his USL career with the Colorado Switchbacks in a 4-1 victory last week against El Paso Locomotive that continued to have some major implications on the Week 31 outcomes across the USL. A couple of players that you may recognize from the Toros fans, Jonas Fjellberg and Juan Pablo Torres, each make the team of the week based upon that excellent performance they had against Phoenix Rising last Saturday in a 2-1 victory, including a helpful push that helped them to get 4 points following a draw against Memphis 901. A great week for the Toros and a great week for those two performers put them in a beautiful spot to be awardees for Team of the Week. Also, thinking of some more awards given to the Toros, Wilmer Cabrera earned Coach of the Month for the month of September as he pushed the team to a 4-0 record, conceding just one goal across the month, turned the Toros season all the way around and put them into the exact position they're in now and a chance to enter the playoffs for the second straight year. Look at your outcomes elsewhere across the USL. Earlier in the evening, Louisville defeated Hartford 2-1. Tampa Bay is defeating New York Red Bulls right now 1-0. Memphis is up 2-0 on Tulsa at the half. You know what's going on right here with Rio Grande Valley. Orange County's leading San Antonio 2-1, and Mexico United is up in the 23rd minute 1-0 over Colorado. A couple finals, Miami defeated Detroit 1-0. Charleston and Loudoun went to a 1-1 draw. Pittsburgh, as you know, defeated the Oakland Roots 3-1. That had major implications in the West. And yet to play later on in the evening, San Diego will play Sacramento. Las Vegas is at LA Galaxy 2, and Atlanta will face off with Phoenix in the final game of the nightcap.
All right. right, and let's take a look now. Here's our standings in the West, and you can see the top 5 teams have already clinched a spot, and the last 2 spots remain. But the Rio Grande Valley Toros have also clinched, didn't they? Clinching mid-first half.
Yeah, put an X next to them. The loss by the Oakland Roots means that the Roots cannot conceivably pass the Toros. They have the tiebreakers against them. So regardless of what happened on the evening, the Toros are now going to be in the playoffs. And El Paso is looking below them at Las Vegas and hoping for a positive outcome. Las Vegas comes away with less than 3 points, and the Oakland Roots are in the playoffs.
And how about a look at the Western Conference playoff bracket? We can see how that's coming into focus.
Yeah, so here's everything that's shaken out thus far. San Antonio is the top seed. They've clinched that. They'll get the bye. If the outcomes stand exactly as they are right now, Rio Grande Valley would actually be the 5 seed, assuming New Mexico does not pick up a victory on the evening. The 2 seed is San Diego. The 3 seed will be Colorado. The 4 seed will be Sacramento. Should all the outcomes stand as they currently are, Oakland would be the 7, the Toros would be the 5, New Mexico United would be the 6, but that could still shake up. A New Mexico United victory would propel them into 5th, leaving Toros in 6th, and a win by the Las Vegas Lights would bring them into that 7th spot, pushing the Oakland Roots out.
Yeah, I was going to say Las Vegas not in that picture at the moment, but they still have that puncher's chance. So that will do it for the Western Conference, and we'll take a look at some highlights and some stats from the first half in just a moment. Right now you're watching USL Championship Soccer on ESPN+.
When we said Reliant offers free flex days, we had something a little different in mind. Get the flexibility of free electricity on your 2 highest use days every week with the Reliant Truly Free Flex Days plan. That's up to 8 free days a month. So go on, what are you waiting for? We'll even upgrade your plan to solar. On us. Reliant. That's power. Your way.
DHR Health is now safer than ever and continues to remain focused on one thing: providing exceptional care to our patients and community. No other hospital is trying harder to keep you safe. We're taking every action to ensure your safety with enhanced precautions, including 3 off-site COVID-19 units. Your health should never wait. Don't delay your health care. There is no reason to. Schedule your appointment today. DHR Health. For you, for life.
Why choose Lone Star National Bank for your business? Because no other bank does more to support local businesses. In fact, we are the #1 lender in the Valley to small businesses. We put money to work here in our community.
That helps our local businesses grow.
Creating more jobs.
And more opportunities for all of us.
Working together.
Together.
We do what the little banks can't and the big banks won't. Lone Star National Bank, the Valley's bank.
Today at Whataburger, we're cooking the Buffalo Ranch chicken strip sandwich. We got 3 chicken strips topped with Whataburger's own buffalo sauce, a little bit of buttermilk ranch, 2 slices of Monterey Jack cheese. The combination is just right.
It's crunchy and then it's spicy and then it's cool. Your mouth is exploding with flavor. It just all works together, and then you add the cheese in there.
It kind of wakes me up, honestly. My goodness. I can see myself eating this every time I come here.
They're gonna go crazy for this thing. The Buffalo Ranch chicken strip sandwich. It's back, and it's only for a limited time.
And we're back here at HEB Park. Time for our first half highlights, Brian.
And a couple of big performances for the Toros in the first 45 plus. Let's take a look at those scoring opportunities. It was quick and it was hurried. The opening goal came off of this move right here. You see Frank Lopez was taken to the ground. Edetta comes out, cleats up. That leads to a red card. Pimentel on the penalty kick deflected, but Juan Pablo Torres says not deflected far enough. Huge goal for the Toros here. Another look at it. Long deflection by Edetta. He played that well. Juan Pablo Torres steps up for the opening goal. A couple moments later, here come the Toros once again. Ricketts drops that in. Frank Lopez says, let me get in on the mix here. Ricketts had a couple of really nice crosses on the evening. That was the first of several. Frank Lopez finishes that one into the back of the net. A couple other nice opportunities for the Toros here. That's Jose Torres takes a strike, cannot find it. Akeem Ward had a pretty good look as well. Edetta was up to the challenge to corral that one. The Bulls were on parade as the Toros looking for some big points and a chance to solidify a great spot in the Western Conference side of the playoffs. Take a look at your stats at the half. You know the score, 2-0 in favor of Rio Grande Valley, but look at that shot differential. 15-2 overall, 7-0 on target. Time of possession very firmly in favor of the Toros at 62.5 compared to 37.5. The offsides really stacking up against Monterey Bay, 3-0. And they have all of the bookings thus far, the 2 yellows and the 1 red that went against Gorski.
Yeah, and some other big numbers that stand out that kind of show the Toros' dominance. Look at shots inside the box, 7-2 in favor of the Toros, and touches in the opposition box. Look at that one.
22-3. That is spectacular in favor of the Toros. Shows how dominant they've been. You know how much we love the passing percentages here in the USL. Take a look about this. The Toros nearly 93% passing efficiency compared to just 82% by Monterey Bay. Passes in the final third, 108 for Rio Grande Valley, just 35 for Monterey Bay.
Yeah. And that 93%, that's the highest I've seen from any team all season. That is just off the charts.
And then possessions won in the final third, 4 for Rio Grande Valley. The biggest one of those is probably on that opening goal. Frank Lopez, in a foot race to the edge, gets that possession, pushes it. That leads to a penalty kick and the first goal for Rio Grande Valley in this one.
And possessions won in the final third, 4-1 in favor of the Toros. Tackles 7-1 for the Toros. Corner kicks 3-0 for the Toros. Fouls, there were 5 on Monterey Bay. 3 of them were a bit costly. 1 was a red, 2 led to yellow cards. Only 3 fouls called on the Toros there in the first half. And they've got goals behind Toros and by Lopez for Toros. Remember, he assisted on 2 goals last week, the Fjellberg goals. One reason why Toros was on the Team of the Week and now has another chance to make next week's Team of the Week with the goal here tonight.
It just shows what a dynamic performer he is for the Toros. You tend to think of players like Toros as being somebody that's a great distributor. He sets teams up. He forces the opposition to come out and cut off angles, and then he can dip off to one of his teammates. But on the evening already, he says, well, I don't have to always do the passing. I can get involved in the attack as well. You saw it there in a spectacular performance. That was a long rebound off of a nice save by Herrera. Torres takes all of that pressure off of Rio Grande Valley with the opening goal. And as we mentioned, Frank Lopez gives the insurance goal to them just a few moments later. Rio Grande Valley now is poised for a really nice position heading in to the 2022 Hisense USL Championship playoffs.
Yeah, for Torres, his 3rd goal of the year. For Lopez, his 7th goal this season, which puts him just 1 behind Fjellberg for the team lead. Also with 7 goals is Pinzon. And the Toros have had nice balance in their offensive attack this year. 18 different players have found the back of the net at one time or another.
And it's hard to even quantify how scary that is for opponents. As you see the sign going up right now on the big screen, the Rio Grande Valley Toros have clinched a playoff for the 2nd consecutive season. First time in franchise history they've gone to the playoffs in back-to-back years. And then given that they've also been so balanced on offense, if you're the opponent, you've got a really hard job ahead of you to figure out who do we need to mark. How do we break down this offense for Rio Grande Valley, because they just seemingly have so many different scoring opportunities and guys that can step up in key moments and put up key performances.
And we've seen tonight the Toros have teed it up, shot from distance. They've shot from in close. They're a team that can score from just about anywhere on the pitch. Makes it tough for other teams. They came into tonight tied for 12th, so in the top half of the league as far as goals scored. Monterey Bay came in tied for 21st in goals scored. And Monterey Bay facing a tough hill to climb, down 2 goals on the road and also down a man as they had a player face a red card back in the 5th minute. Means 85 minutes being shorthanded. Underway now in the second half. Of course, teams have switched ends. Toros in the blue and white now, moving from right to left. Monterey Bay in the all white. And I like, according to Monterey Bay's website, their official colors are white and kelp blue. Never heard of that shade, but it is a nice shade of blue. And here's Monterey Bay moving forward. This is Grande. Grande's out of Liberia. And now Monterey Bay has an opportunity here for a build-up. Give their defense a little bit of a respite, if anything. Osuljevic, the midfielder, forced to go back. Now some pressure. Here's Lopez coming in. It's played back to the keeper. Herrera misplays it. Ball is still loose. Herrera is down. The whistle has blown, and there's going to be a yellow card shown to Lopez.
And Frank Lopez earns that yellow card. He disagrees with it. You see him shaking his head, but on a tie, the advantage always goes to the keeper. And you see here, Herrera does misplay this, but he beats Lopez to the ball, and then Lopez takes that plant leg and applies a little pressure to it. You're going to get the card as the attacking player every time in that situation. They have to protect the keeper, especially when the keeper beats you to the ball on the misplay.
And you could see Herrera looked up at the last moment just before the ball contacted his right foot, and as a result, misplayed it a bit. It glances off the foot back toward the goal line. Lopez almost poached one there, but instead picks up yellow, his 7th booking of the season. So some fireworks early on here in the second half at HEB Park. Toros up 2-0. As we already heard, the Oakland Roots losing on the road in Pittsburgh. And the Toros, as a result, have clinched a playoff spot. Grande with the ball, trying to feed it to his teammate Cortez. It goes to the side to Donor. Ball blocked out of bounds by Ward. So this will be a throw-in for Monterey Bay. As we said earlier, Monterey Bay in their first year, USL. Oh, nice little flip there, but no one there for Monterey Bay, and Derek will collect the ball. They're not, however, the first team to play in the Monterey, California area. They've had pro soccer since at least the early 1990s. Some of the previous teams include the Santa Cruz Surf, the Monterey Bay Jaguars, my favorite, the Salinas Valley Samba, and also the Santa Cruz Breakers have played in Seaside or in Monterey. Here's Fjellberg with it. Now Toros, wearing the captain's armband, wins a corner kick for his team as it goes off Donor. Donor suffering the worst from that collision. And Brian, you were saying during the break about where the Toros are going to finish is kind of in line where they finished historically when they've made the playoffs.
Yeah, it's kind of interesting that 50-point marker seems to be kind of the interesting spot for Rio Grande Valley. Their inaugural season, they made the playoffs having scored 51 points. They made the playoffs with 50 points last season. If this stand will hold right now, they're going to conclude this season with 49 points. That's kind of that tipping point. You get around 50 points, and you're probably in the USL playoffs.
Toros entering tonight as the number 6 seed. They could finish as high as the 5 seed or as low as the 7 seed, depending on how things play out. But either way, they're in that top 7. So you have 14 teams going to the USL playoffs. The top finisher in each group gets a first-round bye, so that'll be Louisville City in the East and San Antonio FC in the West. The other 6 in the East and the West all have to play a single elimination match in that first round. Pass headed out there by Monterey Bay. It was intended for Fjellberg. Toros trying to build up again. Here's Ruiz. One-touch passing. And it goes to the left side to Ward. Can he catch up to it? He does. Ward keeps it in play. Now Fjellberg with it. Sit it into the area. A header at the net, just wide. Just wide. I think Lopez thought he had one there in the bank.
Yeah, big smile on his face. That was placed really nicely by Fjellberg. Lopez very nearly has a brace. Take a look at this, placed beautifully. That whip of the neck sends it just wide right. You see him kind of tapping his temples. He was eerily close to another goal.
Lopez just 5'9", a compact 152 pounds. And just has an excellent instinct around the goal mouth. Back in play now. You saw the Toros at halftime had nearly 63% of the possession. That's close to the highest they've had all year. I think the most they've had is 66% at any given time. They might finish above that tonight. Of course, tonight a bit of an anomaly. They grabbed an early lead. They have a man advantage early on. That creates different dynamics. Ruiz with it. Toros will center the ball. And then Toros quickly trying to find Gilberg, but this is intercepted, and back comes Monterey Bay with a good opportunity. This is Gleedle in the midfield. Gleedle to Donor now. Donor with 2 markers on him, trying to center this ball. Pops it off of Ward. It'll be a first corner kick of the night for Monterey Bay. Things percolating a little bit for Monterey Bay side.
It was a really nice counter and a quick counter. Just a slight misplay by Torres trying to find Fjellberg. They step up for the interception and then very quickly build their best counter of the evening.
And Donor tried to center it a little too quickly maybe. The Toros easily block that and clear it upfield before anything can materialize. So one thing we do know, the Toros don't necessarily know what seed they'll have, but we do know that they'll be on the road next week. Right now, they'd be traveling to Colorado Springs. They could end up traveling to Sacramento or even possibly San Diego Loyal. Last year, they pulled the upset in Phoenix, winning on penalty kicks, their first playoff win ever. Advanced to the second round, lost to San Antonio FC. Here's Fjellberg after a steal. Ball blocked by Rebelar. Rebelar with control. He's out of Watsonville, California, just 22 years old. And Rebelar plays this back to his teammate Bear. Bear out of New York City. Oh, here's a chance here. This is Ruiz stealing the ball, shoots, and a save made by Herrera, who had to come charging out of his box quickly.
If you're Monterey Bay, those are the kind of mistakes you just can't afford to make. You're down a man already, so there's one more Toro just kind of floating around unmarked. And a gentle misplay here, and it's one-on-one Ruiz on Herrera, but Herrera stands tall. Able to deflect that one away, but another corner now for Rio Grande Valley.
Yeah, Herrera, 6 feet tall. Ruiz, one of the shortest players out here at 5'7". Playing in his, he's played in every game this season. Ruiz came in with 3 goals and a team-high 7 assists. In fact, his assist good enough for 15th in the entire league. And here comes the corner kick. Going to go high into the area, and a header sends it out of play. It'll be another corner kick. It's Nadarse who had a chance at that.
Connor Ward places a pretty nice little float into this. A better job, though, defensively by Cortez to come up, get ahead on that before it can make its way. Arce.
It goes out of play, and this will be it will be a corner kick here for the Toros. Once more. That was Chris Cortez, by the way, who got that header a moment ago, that little flick on to keep it away from Nadarse. And here's Torres' kick. This will be an in-swinger. Keeper comes out, gets a tap on the ball. It'll be another corner from the other side.
One corner begets another, Like a polygon out there right now. There's just corners everywhere you look.
Yeah, 6th corner of the night for Rio Grande Valley. Still a long way from their season high of 16. This will be Torres and Ruiz. It's going to be a short corner to Ruiz. Sends it inside. Ball popped up in the air and over the net. And this time it'll be a goal kick for Monterey Bay. Nadarse with the opportunity.
Came in a little hot. First substitution is going to come in now for Rio Grande Valley as Ollie Wright will replace Ricky Ruiz. Additionally, Christian Pinzon will be entering. Pinzon is going to replace Frank Lopez. So Wright for Ruiz, Pinzon for Lopez in the 57th minute.
2 subs right away. Ollie Wright, this will be his 4th game that he's played in. Missed the first 2/3 of the season, the Toros. We see Lopez had a goal tonight. First one in about 5 weeks for him. And there we see Benzon comes in, has 7 goals on the season with 2 assists, 26 shots. So one strong goal scorer replaces another. Monterey Bay hasn't made a sub yet. And of course, have been playing with 10 men since the 6th minute of the game. Popped by Ward. Cabezas has control of it. And now Toros will send it to the right side. And there's acres of space now for Ricketts. He's going to pause a little bit. And the Toros will let the players filter forward so they can start their build-up. Ollie Wright, his first touch. It's out of England. Benzon with his first touch. Into the middle. And Herrera is there with nobody from the Toros charging in.
O'Connor Ward was trying to slip that to Ollie Wright. Wright peeled back in a little bit. Left that one to fall right to Herrera very gently.
Deep kick there by Herrera, and it's at the foot of Nadarce. Nadarce's playing in his 18th game this season. Has 2 goals. One of those came in the U.S. Open Cup play. Ward with it. Will pass it back. Center back, Pimentel. One of the mainstays for the Toros the past 2 seasons. Long pass intended for Fjellberg. Overshot. Herrera intercepts that one. Toyama plays the ball into the middle. 59th minute now. 2-0 our score. Toros on top. Toros have already clinched a playoff spot. Can still improve their seeding. They hold on for the win, and depending on what happens with New Mexico United. Last we heard, United had an early 1-0 lead. Here's Toros moving forward against Donor. Now finds Wright inside, and it's going to be an own goal. Own goal leads to goal number 3 for the Toros. And it just hasn't been the night for Monterey Bay.
Rodrigo Toyama comes out and tries to defend that well. Ball slips through his feet, and in the process, Herrera had cheated over to that corner to try to challenge if that gets past him. It's just deflected off the foot of Rodrigo Toyama and into the net. Toros having perhaps one of their strongest offensive showings of the year in the final, now up 3-0.
And Toyama is simply trying to prevent the ball to get to the foot of Fjellberg. It's likely a goal if he does not play the ball. And you see right there offering thanks as he contributes to that goal. 23 years old, and it's 3-0 now. Toros in front. Toros aren't used to these one-sided games. They usually have games that come down to the final finish. In fact, entering tonight, 25 of their 33 matches were decided by 1 goal, either by winning or losing. They're up 3-0 now here in the second half. Long pass here is Ollie Wright again, centers the ball. No one there for the Toros, and Herrera able to smother that one. Looking at the previous results this season for the Toros at home, their biggest home win this year was 3-1 against New Mexico United back on September 10th. Right now they lead 3-0 here against Monterey Bay. This one trickles through to Tyler Derrick. Derrick has had a soft night in goal, faced only 2 shots, has not been forced to make a save yet. Came in with 7 clean sheets, could pick up number 8 here tonight if the Toros can hold on. Ali Wright just came on. It's already contributed to a goal. 3-0 our score. Here's Juan Pablo Toros, a 2-game scoring streak. Has his pass intended for Fjellberg knocked away. Controlled now by Cortez for Monterey Bay. The ball played upfield, and the Toros will regain possession there, thanks to Pimentel.
Quick look at your USL scoreboard. Orange County and San Antonio are now knotted at 2-2. That point would propel Mexico United into the 4 seed, making Sacramento the 5. Toros in line for the 6 seed right now, if that score should stand up.
That's where they began the evening. Here's a chance here for Monterey Bay. On their build-up here, number 7, Rebelar. Off to the right to his teammate Donor. Into the area, Nodarse heads that up in the air. Now to the foot of Cabezas. Now Pinzon with it. Pinzon has 7 goals this season. Races up forward into the attacking side for the Toros. It's Pinzon. He's playing in Mexico earlier this season before he came to Rio Grande Valley. He was also a former MLS Super Draft pick by the Chicago Fire. Hope you're enjoying our coverage on ESPN Plus, also locally on Somos El Valle, channel 5.2 and cable channel 1241. Glad to have you aboard. Ollie Wright passes it inside. Torres able to get the turn. Has time with no pressure. Back to Ward. Again, the Toros playing a little bit of keep away to find that soft spot against Monterey Bay. This little move there by Ricketts to get into the area is tripped up. Play will continue. And Monterey Bay able to clear the ball. That was Vasoljevic who was able to clear it. And now we're going to have a card issue after the foul here in the open field.
Senseless foul there by Nodarse. You're not the back line defender. You've got one other guy that can step up and challenge that. Kona had beaten you to the ball. Smarter move to play there once you challenge Kona is just to go ahead and peel off and help Pimentel, who was in a position to challenge this. But Nodarse gives him that last little bit of touch in the lower back, and their feet get tied up. Kona will pick up the free kick here. Darce gets the yellow. Substitutions coming in now for the Toros as Coronado and Icaza are both going to come in.
Looks like Fjellberg might be coming out.
And Juan Pablo Torres.
Torres with 2 assists last week and a goal tonight. Been a hot hand for these Toros. Robert Coronado, defender out of La Habra, California.
Looks like Isidro Martinez will also come in. He'll replace Juan David Cabezas. Martinez, Coronado, and Icaza come in. Torres, Fjellberg, and Cabezas will all get breathers in the 66th minute.
So the Toros using up their last 3 subs right there in one go. Still waiting on the first sub for Monterey Bay. Monterey Bay, by the way, has won a free kick after Nodarse picked up the yellow card. It was his 4th of the year. Here comes the free kick into the area. Goes all the way through. And I think ends up as a corner kick. See Ricketts there shaken up. This ball somehow makes it all the way through there.
Collected off the back heel of Ricketts.
Going to be Vasoljevic out of the Bronx who will take this corner. Second of the game for Monterey Bay. All the way to the far post. Ward gets the first touch. Out to the right side. That's Vasoljevic, sends it inside and punched out by Derek. Derek quickly back up. The ball now 40 yards from goal. Monterey Bay trying to set something up. Toyama is going to send this one over the bar and attempt to cross it.
That'll give a goal kick to Tyler Derrick in Rio Grande Valley. 67th minute. Toros firmly in control of this one. Mind you, they're also still playing up a man after that red card issued in the 5th minute against Gorski.
Gorski, one of their top defenders. A bitter blow there for Monterey Bay early on. They've been under the gun ever since. Down now 3-0. Ikaza with his first touch. Ikaza just 24 out of St. Petersburg, Florida. With Austin Bold last year. Played in every game this year now with the Toros. Ikaza right there will send it forward. Trying to chip it to his teammate Martinez, but Edetta intercepts. Martinez didn't quite seem ready for it. There's the ball screaming into the area, and a nice little intercept there by Hedetta, who wasn't taking any chances, not certain if there was a Toro behind him. Grabs this one.
That's placed nicely by Cedro Martinez. Hedetta doesn't come out to get that. Ollie Wright's in a pretty good spot to knock that down, and he's beyond Hedetta at that point. Very likely would have an open shot on goal.
Yeah, Hedetta taking no chances there with a terrific intercept. The Ward will play this back. It's at the foot of Pinzon. Pinzon just 24 years old. Ricketts will play it forward. And Martinez will send it to his teammate, to Torres. Torres still wearing the captain's armband tonight. Like he'll go the full 90. Martinez pops the ball forward. Now he'll run toward the net. He'll get the return pass. Toyama's there to intercept, though. And Toyama will send that one clear to be a throw-in here for the Toros. Cedro Martinez, who's a local product out of Brownsville, just about 60 miles from here, and also played his college ball right here in Edinburgh, Texas.
Substitutions now for Monterey Bay. Balmo Martinez comes in. He'll replace Jason Johnson. Additionally, Simon Dawkins will come onto the pitch.
And Dawkins a starter midweek on Wednesday, and that loss at Tulsa. Dawkins 34 years old, out of Jamaica.
Dawkins is going to replace Chris Cortez.
And we see Cortez coming off the pitch. And Johnson coming out for Walmer Martinez, who's out of El Salvador. Grew up in California. Making his 24th appearance for Monterey Bay this year. And kind of an answer to a trivia question, too, is who was the first player ever signed by the Monterey Bay franchise? And it was that man we just saw, Walmer Martinez, back in December of last year. There's Pimentel with it. We're in minute 70 here at HEB Park. Toros trying to improve their playoff position. Enter tonight as the number 6 seed. Could possibly finish as high as number 5 if the cards fall the right way. Monterey Bay here now on the ascent. Going to be Donor sending this one inside. An attack here brewing. Pass intended for Rebelar up against Nodarce. Nodarce with a nice little touch there to concede the corner kick. Be the third corner of the game for Monterey Bay. They'll bring everybody forward for this one. The Toros have everybody back as well. In fact, they've got 10 players defending in the box. Five in the box for Monterey Bay. Pass is flicked on by Ricketts. And then a foul there committed by Torres, who thought he got a clean tackle.
I would tend to agree. It looks like he got to the ball first, cleared it out of the way. Kone trips over him, but he was to ground long before Kone gets here. It's like a pretty clean tackle to me there. The officials see it differently. They'll award the ball And a free kick to Monterey Bay.
Just the fourth foul tonight called against the Toros. And it looks like it would be Martinez to take this free kick. The left footer. Send this one to the far post. Derek is there. Goes up in a crowd. Is able to bring this one down.
Big sigh of relief from him. Has not been challenged extensively on the evening, but that was a pretty good swing there from Martinez to drop it in. Eric plucks that one out of the air before anything else can occur.
By the way, Brian, the Toros only 4 fouls tonight. If they keep that under 7, that would be a season low for them as far as fewest fouls in a game. Donor heads this back to his keeper, Hedetta. They've had only 2 other matches this season where they were in single digits as far as fouls go. This could be number 3.
And could be the 8th clean sheet for Tyler Derrick. Another testament to what a spectacular job he's done all year in net.
Foul called here, won by Isidro Martinez. A free kick for the Toros. Martinez just 25 years old. Played with New Mexico United last year, was a Toro 2 years ago.
Local favorite, played his college soccer at the University of Texas Rio Grande Valley. Plays their home games here in Edinburgh, about 2 miles from where we're currently standing.
The ball back to Nadarce. The Toros content to just build this up rather than take a shot at net right away. 74th minute now. Nursing a 3-0 lead. Nadarce brings this up. So if this scoreline holds, it'll be the biggest win for the Toros at home all season. It would also finish above 500 at home for the season. And for that matter, above 500 for the overall regular season. Be it 14-13 with 7 draws. Here's Ikaza from distance, a bouncer that Hedetta is able to field cleanly. That by my count would be 7 saves now for Hedetta, which is just 1 shy of the team's high this year. Had 8 against El Paso back in April. Ball finds its way back to Derek. Toros have had a handful of big wins this year. They won 3-0 at Charleston Battery back on September 23rd. And of course, their biggest win of the year was a 5-0 win over Las Vegas. That was on the road on August 27th. Las Vegas seeing action later tonight, a 9:30 kickoff local time, be 7:30 out in California where they're playing the LA Galaxy 2. And it looks like the Toros will have, they'll have certainly a playoff spot, and either Oakland or Las Vegas will get that last playoff spot. Turnover here again. Ikaza on the move. Sends it forward into the airpin zone, lifts it over the keeper off the post. Ollie Wright shoots, and he scores. But an offside flag is up. Had the sense of it being offside, but the play continued. Wright was able to put it back into an open net. But the offside flag came up on the Toros for the first time tonight.
Substitution now for Monterey Bay as Jesse Maldonado will come in. He'll replace Sekou Kone, who got the start in this one. Just offside as they were looking for Pinzon. He had just slipped past that last defender.
You could kind of see it in Wright's body language as well, even before he shot the ball. Just kind of did it as a follow-through. And, of course, the replay very clear, it was offside. So score remains 3-0. We're in the last 15 minutes now. Toros have been very solid in the last 15 minutes this year. Had the lead going into the last 15, 13 times. They've won 11 and settled for a draw twice. And Toros with a chance to enter the playoffs with a 6-1-1 record in their last 8 matches. That's pretty good momentum. Monterey Bay with control now. On the right flank as Donor pushes it forward. Tried to pass it back was Martinez, but it was intercepted by Ward. And now the Toros have possession once more. Ward came in with 34 interceptions tonight, had 7 last week in that game against Phoenix Rising. He's added to that total a few times here tonight. Monterey Bay with another chance here in the 78th minute. Short pass, though, intercepted by Toros. Back come the Toros. Chance here with only 3 defenders back. Toros have 3 forwards coming up, and a through ball intended for Wright. Couldn't quite get there as Ikaza had a little too much smoke on that one. Wright couldn't quite get to it.
Been such a strong performance for Rio Grande Valley in their regular season final. Remember, as you mentioned, Mark, they've been on a tear over the last, 6 weeks, to be completely honest with it. They've worked themselves up to number 4 in the USL top 5 to this point. So I think anybody on the western side, other than San Antonio, who's just been on fire all year long, can look at these Toros and go, I don't know if I want to face them in the playoffs the way they're playing right now.
They're one of those low seeds that got hot at the right team of the year. They're kind of you always have one of those proverbial teams that nobody wants to play. That might be the Toros this time around. You mentioned those top 5 power rankings. Number 1, San Antonio FC. Louisville City is number 2, and those are your number 1 seeds in the West and East. Tampa Bay 3rd, the Toros 4th, and Oakland Roots, based on their recent play, are 5th. They'll likely take a dip next week, having lost tonight on the road in Pittsburgh, 3-1.
As we said, depending on what happens with the Las Vegas Lights, may find themselves on the outside looking in of the playoffs.
Yeah, Lights entering tonight with 44 points. Would need a victory to overtake Oakland for that last playoff seed. Quick pass here by Monterey Bay. An opportunity here. This is Donor. Sends it forward. Intended for Maldonado. Couldn't quite get the connection. And this will go out of play. But that's probably the best opportunity in the second half here for Monterey Bay.
Got just enough on that to get it to Maldonado, but it's perhaps just 2 or 3 steps in front of him, so it slips by. Going to lead to a goal kick for Tyler Derrick, and he's going to get to take some time to run back to it because he ran out, try to keep that one in. So now they have to give him an opportunity to come back to goal to take this goal kick. And what does that mean? A little more time coming off the clock.
And Maldonado, by the way, 20 years old, out of San Diego. And Toros with possession once more. Monterey Bay does have 2 subs remaining. Toros have used up all of theirs with 80 minutes complete. Here's Ikaza. Ikaza with 7 goals this year, 1 behind Fjeldberg for that team lead. Pimentel with control. And now Pinzon with it. We'll send this one forward. Bounces back. Toros have dominated the possession tonight, kind of uncharacteristic of them. But as we talked about the dynamics of Monterey Bay going a man down just 5 minutes into the game, the Toros taking the early lead has kind of led to this development. Last week, they're just 30% in possession. Won that one 2-1 over Phoenix. And now we've got a free kick awarded to the visitors.
Like Ed is going to come all the way.
This with 6 assists this season, by the way, second only to Ruiz, who has 7. Now the ball at the foot of Ward. Wright has it kicked away from him. Goes out of play. This will be Monterey Bay's throw in. And Toros are going to be in the playoffs for the 3rd time in their 7 years of existence. Started back in 2016. They made the playoffs that year. Their coach was Wilmer Cabrera. And then Cabrera
clinching a playoff spot and perhaps controlling their own destiny.
Yeah, that would have a draw anywhere along that line would have put them at 44 points, level with Las Vegas, although they do have the tiebreak edge over Las Vegas, but certainly would have entered tonight in a much more precarious position. 84th minute now as Toros will send this one forward, and a little too hot there for Pinzon, and Monterey Bay will get the ball back. You were talking earlier about how tight the West race was all season long. I think only Orange County, which coincidentally was last year's USL Championship champion, only they were out of it for the longest time.
Yeah, the bulk of the teams in the West were going into the push. In fact, Rio Grande Valley in their victory over final game of the second to last week. So this chance to stamp their way into the playoffs, as we mentioned.
We saw Pinzon with a cross there a moment for Monterey Bay. Just over 5 minutes remaining here, plus stoppage here at HEB Park. The Toros in command with the 3-0 lead, led 2-0 at the break. Donor Hawkins out of Jamaica, chance here for Monterey Bay, and Nadarce steps up and knocks that one away. Nice little intercept by Nadarce. And now the Toros back on the attack. Here's Pinzon with it on the left wing. Pinzon up against Fair. We'll send this into the inside. Intended for Coronado, but he's tackled off the ball by Reboller. That pass intended for Guido, and this will be a Toros throw. One of the top scorers on this Monterey. That's those 8 goals on just 20 shots. Doesn't see anything forward to play it back for Nadarce. Steps into that one and finds O'Connor Ward. Toros again playing a little keep away here in the 80s and sends this one to his teammate. That looks like goal tonight. Now Coronado just 25 years old. Off into the atmosphere, and this will be another goal. The southern tip of Texas, next to the spring break destination. Years old out of California. Shy of the club. Get turned. Another attack brewing now for the Toros. 89th minute now as Toros finds right and back to Toros.
Spending all season playing on that razor's edge does something to kind of steal your nerves. Perhaps that's been what's made the Toros so dangerous down the stretch this year, is they've seen just about everything.
Monterey Bay gets the intercept. Here's Martinez into the area. Had it poked away from him by Pimentel. Goes over to the left side after a penalty save by Herrera. And then Frank Lopez in the 33rd, an own goal, adding to the scoreline in the 60th minute.
Also the second time in the last 3 games that the Toros have been omitted from an own goal. They had one against Memphis 901 as well, but ultimately ended up a 2-2 draw.
Another one of those valuable points that you were talking about. So we're going to have 3 minutes of added time. Coronado. The Monterey Bay season will finish on 40 points. Haven't done that well on the road this year. Came in at 4-11-1 and were winless in their last 5 road games coming into tonight. So they'll finish winless in their last 6 as their season will come to a close. Icaza sends this one forward. There's Ward in the area, able to bring this one down, and the ball ricochets into the net. The Toros. It's been a perfect night for them, and they're up 4-0.
I have to see the replay on this. This may be a second own goal against Monterey Bay. I think that was actually deflected off of a Monterey Union player. Let's take a look again right here. Yeah, that's Wilmer Martinez. That's deflected off of him, and in 2 own goals.
Yeah, it was actually Martinez trying to clear it, banks it off the shin of Ward.
But that's just, when it rains, it pours, and they're in the middle of a torrential downpour in Monterey Bay right now.
So we'll see if Ward gets credited with the goal, as it appeared that he was the last to touch it before it went into the net, although it was off the impetus of Martinez trying to clear the ball. And if that stands, it would be the second goal this season for Akeem Ward. That coming in the 92nd minute. And it's 4-0 now for the Toros. Another chance. Pinzon. Solid shot. Good. They're able to salvage something here as Maldonado able to take advantage of this confusion here for the Toros. And bye-bye to the clean sheet.
It's probably not a significant consolation if you're Monterey Bay, especially how this game has gone. But Maldonado ends his season on a pretty high note. And there's the final whistle. That is going to do it. So Maldonado strikes in the closing seconds to take the clean sheet away.
Yeah, Maldonado, his first goal of the year, and makes it the final scoreline 4-1. So 2 goals there in stoppage time.
DHR Health is now safer than ever and continues to remain focused on one thing: providing exceptional care to our patients and community. No other hospital is trying harder to keep you safe. We're taking every action to ensure your safety with enhanced precautions, including 3 off-site COVID-19 units. Your health should never wait. Don't delay your health care. There is no reason to. Schedule your appointment today. DHR Health. For you, for life.
Why choose Lone Star National Bank for your business? Because no other bank does more to support local businesses. In fact, we are the #1 lender in the Valley to small
Local businesses grow.
Creating more jobs.
and more opportunities for all of us.
Working together.
Lone Star National Bank, the Valley's bank.
For Rio Grande Valley, Juan Torres took that early off to the races beyond that. Take a look at these highlights. Eric Toros up 1-0. Just a few moments later, gets Ricketts with the cross. Frank Lopez with the finish. 2-0 Toros. A nice little soft touch finds Ollie right Rose. And toward the end, in stop, up off of his shin and in. 4-0 Toros. And then literally in the final second, Monterey Bay, but they fall in this one 4-1. Credit for that, his second goal of the year. Here's your stats at the conclusion of this one. Toros by Monterey Bay, 10-1 is their advantage on net. Time of possession, 68%. Monterey Bay, 5 total offside, 2 against the Toros, 3 by Rio Grande Valley.
And for the Toros, the 27th. That was a 5-0 win, so a very decisive win for them tonight. Home and above 500 for the year. 14 wins and 13 losses with 7 draws and 49 points. And we'll have to see how Las Vegas and Los Angeles plays out as they are kicking off just to right about now, and see where the Toros end up in the seeding. But congratulations to the Toros. They do make the playoffs for the 3rd time in franchise history and the 2nd time in a row. Monterey Bay, good. For Brian Smith and Mark May, the rest of our USL broadcast crew. Good night from Edinburgh, Texas.
Retransmitted, rebroadcast, or reproduced